One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today.
All right, we're going to see who's up this early. It's 7:54 a.m. on Sunday morning, and I am headed over to my mother's house to get her up and ready for the day. My hope and wish is that by Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, I will no longer have to be there early in the morning, that she's able to get herself up. She's able to get herself washed up and all the things. She's able to make her breakfast and all of that. She is getting better. She is getting better slowly. So Wednesday will be 2 weeks, and then I'll kind of fall off from going over there in the morning. I'll probably just go in the evening and just help her kind of get settled down for the night. But I wanted to come on and discuss something that I'm seeing out here in the world. And I've been seeing it for a while, but it is getting worse and worse. And it's basically, I think most people are living in survival mode. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that. They'd say, well, no ish, Anita. Like, the world is crazy, right? The world is crazy. The administration is crazy. Our finances and stuff is crazy. Like, okay, tell us something we don't know. But most people out here today, they're living in survival mode. And the bad news is nothing good comes out of that. No one learns, no one grows, no one is open or curious when people are in survival mode, when people are in protective mode, when people are fearful and worried. Nothing good is coming out of that. And so we're finding ourselves going deeper and deeper and deeper into chaos. That's the bad news. So as chaotic and crazy as the world can appear to be at times, when you're coming from a space of survival mode, you're not making things better, right? And here's something to know. This is for my girlies right now. A lot of women are in survival mode. And it's the reason why your edges are so sharp. You're so harsh. You're so brash. You're so hard. There can be no feminine energy coming out of you when you're in survival mode. When you are worried about your job and your paycheck, when you are worried about a lot of women, on EBT, y'all are worried about that. You're worried about your check from the government and all that. Like, so many people living in survival mode. And it is no wonder that the world is in the state that it's in. Like, there's no room to be creative. There's no room to be open and curious. There's no room to really show that softer, sweeter side of yourself as a woman. And so we have to prioritize, especially as women, getting out of this survivor mode mentality. Nothing good comes from that place, right? Nothing positive comes from the place of survival mode. And I'm going to keep saying this. Now, look, I'm going to keep saying this until I have no breath left in my body. Good morning. I'm going to keep saying this, which is, you all keep saying, healthy masculinity, and men being, masculine and healthy and showing up a certain way is what will, bring my femininity, or that's where my femininity flourishes and all of that. I need you to do that on your own. Like, I'm gonna need you to work on that on your own. Because once again, and this is what I see a lot of women do, you all want to outsource your healing. You want to outsource your femininity. You want to outsource, again, you're not taking radical responsibility. And I keep addressing that, this lack of radical accountability and responsibility. I don't need, a man to show up a certain way to be the girl. I don't. I'm going to do that anyway. And if he shows up in a way that makes me feel scared, if he shows up in a way that doesn't make me feel safe, then I'm going to leave that environment. That's the problem. You all stick around in unhealthy, dangerous environments, and instead of remaining the girl, instead of remaining feminine, you go over onto the masculine side. You get hard, you shut down, you put up walls. No, leave people alone that do not make you feel safe. That's the answer. That's the answer. Find people that make you feel safe. Find people that make you feel secure. Find people that, I show up this way and I can continue this way because this is a good, safe place to be. But safety and security, that is a woman's number one need, especially in a romantic relationship. She needs safety and security. That should be your priority. But because women don't prioritize their safety and security, y'all prioritize fun or charm or looks or height or money. You prioritize everything but safety and security. And then when there is no safety and security, you stick around, you just harden yourself. You put on this outer shield, this outer armor, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to change to stay in a sick, twisted, unhealthy, unsafe environment. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that environment so I can keep being me, so I can keep being fun and flirty and feminine and silly and all the things. I'm going to go to a place that appreciates those qualities. And that's what a lot of you all need to do. But a lot of people, men too, I see it in the comment section. You all are in survival mode. Let me just address this. I'm going to address this on my platform. And every now and again, I have to address this. I don't know why. But every now and again, I have to say, look, stop coming in the comments. Stop attacking other people in the comments. Stop attacking me in the comments. That will get you exited quickly. I hope it was worth it. I hope the 3 or 4 or 6 seconds it took you to write that, I hope you got whatever hit you needed, because never again, never again. You will never get one off on me again. That's what you're going to learn being on my platform. So I hope you enjoyed the few seconds it took you to write something negative, but all you're doing is showing people how broken you are inside. All you're doing is showing people how sick you are inside, how insecure you are, how full of shame you are. That's all you're doing. There's no openness. There's no curiosity. There's no wanting to learn and grow and hear different perspectives. Don't bring that over here. I want to believe that my platform is a fairly safe space, because I can't control everything, especially on Instagram. When I tell y'all, if I have a piece of content go viral, there's thousands of comments underneath that piece of content. I would have to sit down for hours to mitigate all of those comments. And sometimes people will say, well, find somebody, hire somebody to mitigate the comments and all of this. I'm a one-woman show, okay? I'm a one-woman show. Y'all act like I'm, and look, I may be made of money, but not for foolishness. I'm not going to pay people for foolishness. I'm not going to put out my money for something dumb. No, I got real stuff to put my money on. So, if it get too reckless, I'll take the content down. I'll just take it down. Because, no, stop attacking other people in the comments. And definitely don't come for me. That definitely is going to get you, like I said, you're going to stay in the dark part of the world that you came from. You will not flourish over here. Okay? That's just not how that works. But I'm seeing it on Instagram for sure. I'm seeing it on YouTube. Y'all will come under people's comments and be nasty. And it's like, I know, it don't offend me or make me feel a way other than to just get rid of you, because I know you're a broken person inside. I know you're a sad, depressed, anxious, broken person inside. That's all that you're showing the world. I'm full of shame. I don't have any compassion or empathy for myself. So how can I show it to other people? How can I show that to other people? Because I don't have it for myself. I'm suffering from some sort of trauma or shame wound or whatever. And now, when I open my mouth, I got to spew it out on everybody else. Don't bring that over here. I was not raised, in a bunch of trauma. I was raised in love. I was raised by people that love me and care about me. And I definitely have reparented myself in that environment. So you're not going to bring that over here on my platform. You definitely ain't going to bring it to me. Okay? If you don't like the way I look, if you don't like my age, if you don't like my gray hair, if you don't like my short hair, if you don't like the fact that I wear glasses, if you don't like fill in the blank, keep it to yourself. Find someone. This is what all y'all need to do. Find someone that's a better fit for you. That's what I don't understand. You don't have to be here. Nobody is holding you hostage. You do not have to be here. You can go down the road and find something that suits you better. But the mere fact that you have to take 5 or 6 seconds to leave a nasty, negative comment, it says more about you, honey. It says more about you than it does me. Okay? You're not hurting my feelings. That's the first thing. But you're not, like I said, I will not be disrespected on my platform. Like I said, I'll take it down. I'll take it down before I let that happen. And you're not going to attack other people. This is a place for people who are open-minded, for people who are curious. This is a place where solution-focused people want solutions. They want to be better. They want to grow. They listen to my content to learn something new, to try to grow, to use the tools and the skills that I share in counseling and therapy. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll try that. Okay, yeah, Anita's got a good point about that. Okay, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll do. But you just coming over here to spread hate? No, you're going to be shown the door. You are going to be shown the door. And for the most part, like I said, I can keep my cool. I'm indifferent. If I'm being honest, I'm pretty indifferent for the most part. But it's just certain people that, to me, I cannot let the evil prevail. That will trigger something in me that says, nope, I cannot let the evil prevail. This person, pricked that part of me. No, go on down the road. You don't agree with me. Go on down the road. You don't need to write wrong. You're wrong. Oh, wow, that's going to lead to an open dialogue. That's going to lead to an open-minded discussion. You showing up and telling me I'm wrong? Yeah, that's going to make me want to know more. It isn't. It isn't. Okay, so go on down the road. Keep that in your mind. Oh, she's wrong. Okay, if that makes you feel better about yourself, go on down the road. But here's what I have come to realize about having a platform. This is what, and boy, when I remember when I read this comment or this saying years and years and years ago, now that I have a platform, it's like I fully understand what this statement means. And it's basically people who are judging you, people who are saying something negative about you and what you're doing, they're doing that because they ain't got nothing going on. Like the same people who ain't got nothing going on, they'll come for you. That's it. They'll come for you. Like they're not better than you. They're not doing better than you because they're taking time out of their day to be nasty, to be negative, Like, just understand that. You should feel sorry for those people because they don't have nothing going on. Like, I ain't got nothing going on. I hate my life. I hate myself. And so I'm going to come on here and spread that hate around. That's it. That's all that they're doing. So, yeah, now I fully understand that. I didn't understand that before. Now I get it. Because people that are about something, people that are doing something, and look, I know content creators. I know tons of content creators. I can count on maybe one or two hands how many times they come under my video to comment. Because they got their own platform. They got their own stuff going on. They ain't thinking about little old me. They ain't got time for me. They're like, I'm doing my own thing. So it's like, wow, I get it now. I should be feeling bad for the people that criticize me because they don't have nothing going on. They don't have nothing going on in their life. They're not doing anything, bringing any value. Wow. Okay. I get it now. So, but stop that. Okay. Stop the judgment. And here's what I mean by judgment. We're called to judge character. Okay. When we see behavior that speaks to low character, even the Bible says, yes, we should judge character. That's how we're going to see who people really are by the fruit that they bear, right? And that's the behavior. The fruit is the behavior that they bear. Their patterns. I keep teaching y'all this. Y'all say it's words or it's actions or it's both. It's patterns. It's what that person does over and over and over again. That's who they are. That's the closest thing we have to knowing what's inside of that person. What they do over and over and over again. It's their patterns. Okay? We're called to judge character. But what a lot of people do, this is how I know you're in survival mode. You're full of shame, right? And that could come from your childhood. That can come from just the life you've lived and the stuff you've been through. You're full of shame. The second thing is you lack self-compassion. You're not compassionate with yourself, so you can't be compassionate with others. Okay? You judge the things that people are doing, and even those things can even be positive. Right? So there are people out there that are like, yeah, I started whitewater rafting. And somebody will jump in the comments, black people don't whitewater raft. What kind of craziness is that? And you'll judge the fact that, they've made a decision to try something different or do something different, or, they're out of that survival mode and they're trying to thrive. They're trying to figure out what it is they love and what they enjoy and what they want to do with their self in their life. You judge that. You judge the fact that people are in touch with their emotions, especially men. Men, y'all are really, really guilty of this one. I need you to understand something, gentlemen. I'm going to specifically speak to the gentlemen. We need both. We need feelings and emotion. We need logic and rationale. The ultimate goal for our world is integration. We are integrating the masculine and the feminine because both energies reside in every person. So that really is the goal for men and women to be integrated. They can go on either side of that fence depending on what is called for. But men want to live like all the time in the masculine. They want to live with this logical, rational, feelings don't matter, emotions don't matter, that doesn't have value. That's how y'all like to shame women. That feelings and emotions don't matter, and, that's silly, stop, I don't care how you feel, with those type of comments. But the truth is, we need both. Like, we need both, right? I consider myself an integrated woman. So I am predominantly feminine, but I have also learned how to embrace the masculine side of myself. I visit the land of logic quite often. And together, I'm going to put up so I'm going to do a post where it talks about dialectical behavioral therapy, talks about the wise mind. So the wise mind comes when we blend the feeling and emotion with the logic and the rationale. We need both. Because, gentlemen, there's something you need to know. There are things in this world, in this life, that you will only know through feeling and emotion. You will only know intuitively. It won't be a fact. It will not be a fact yet, but it's a feeling. It's a knowing. And that's what women should really be good at. You know, a lot of women today are not, but if you are in touch with that feminine side of yourself, you should be a master at intuitive, feeling and just knowing. Oh, I know this, I know that. Like, it's an intuitive feeling. So there's no logic, there's no rationale there, there's no fact, right? There are things that I have just known, and I didn't have any fact, I didn't have any data, but I was like, you know what, something is off. Something is off. I'm going to pass on this. Something is just not quite right. We need that. We need that. That has saved people's lives. A hunch, right? A hunch, a knowing, an instinct. We need both. We need both. And look, thousands of years ago, when cavemen were out on the savannah or out, hunting animals or, trying to survive, I believe that men were more connected to that instinct. They were very instinctual people. And I think men are losing that. They're losing the ability to have a knowing, right? They're getting into these horrible relationships, horrible marriages, that if they just stopped and they just tuned in to their body, tuned into their nervous system, how does this woman make me feel inside? Is this a calm, safe, good feeling? Like, that's it. But because you put so much weight on the logic and the rationale, that you push away the instinct, you push away the feeling or the emotion. And there's plenty of men out there who are integrated. And they've told me, yeah, I just knew, right? They'll tell you the story of, I just knew this was my wife. I just knew this was my person. This was who I was going to be with. And it might not have made sense to other people, but they just knew. That's the thing. But so many men today want to push that aside. You want to push that away. That's not logic. That don't make sense. It has to be factual. We need both. You need both sides to come into wise mind. Wise mind says feelings and emotions give us information. They give us data. Okay? Just like my nervous system is constantly giving me data about situations, circumstances, people. I rely on my nervous system. I rely on how comfortable this situation feels or this person feels to me or not. And I trust that. I'm like, you know what? Something just ain't right. Every time I come around this person, every time they come around me, like, I just am on edge. I just don't feel good. And guess what? There ain't a fact in sight. There's not a fact that I can point to in sight. I've had plenty of people say, why didn't you keep dating so-and-so? Or why didn't you go out with so-and-so again? And then later, we'll find out something that is a fact. And they'll go, oh, you heard about so-and-so? Yeah, they was into this. They was doing that. That's the feeling that my body had. That's my body already told me that. Not with words. My body already told me something about this person is not right. But I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of this. And I posted a series of videos that you can go on my Instagram and watch. There's like a 7 or 8 video series of what is happening between men and women. And because you all are in survival mode, you're eating it up. You're eating it up. You're allowing it to reprogram your mind. You just love whatever it is they're selling you. You love it. You love it. You got men out there who are deeply entrenched in the red pill, and I don't mean the good red pill, the awareness red pill. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the toxic, women are evil, women are inherently bad. There's nothing can be gained from putting that in your mind every day, all day. Nothing. Nothing. Let's be real. And here's how I know. I have guy friends that when they get entrenched in those videos, when they watch those videos and watch that content, they are fearful. They are suspicious. They're damn near paranoid when it comes to women. Like, that's all that does, is make you on high alert all the time when it comes to women. How is the love supposed to get in? How are the good women supposed to get in? What are the good women supposed to do? And I've told y'all stories where I've gone on dates with men, and I was good. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't have the energy to sift through all this stuff you got in your head. And they lost a real one. They lost a real one, bringing that foolishness to the table. So that's the thing you don't realize. You're gonna push away the bad ones. You're gonna push away the good ones too. But the same with women. You watch all this sprinkle content and just get his money girl and all this other stuff. Like, you will not attract a good man with that foolishness, or the newest trope, the men are dangerous and I'd rather be in the woods with the bear. Men are dangerous. I don't feel safe with men and all this. And then you walk around again, fearful of men. Men are bad. I'm fearful of men. I don't trust men. You walk around paranoid. And again, that's the energy that you lead with. So that's what people think. Oh, this person's afraid of me. This person says I'm a horrible person, right? And what you don't realize the whole time is that all of this has been engineered. All of this has been engineered so y'all can buy stuff, so y'all can live on your own, like, so y'all can buy people's courses and do people's coaching and all this. All this stuff has been engineered so that the powers that be can make money off of y'all's war. That's what they're doing. They love y'all's gender war. They love the fact that people aren't getting married. They're not having kids. They love all of that. Because guess what? You're going to have to consume. You're going to have to go places and buy things to cope with the loss of love in your life. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful, what's going on in their eyes. And the whole time, y'all are clueless about all this stuff happening behind the scenes. But they know that if you're happy and in love, if you're married, if you have beautiful children, you're not going to buy a bunch of stuff and go on a bunch of vacations and all this, buy all these bags and shoes and all this other dumb stuff, buy these video games and all, like, but you need all that stuff to cope. And don't even get me started on the mental health. The mental health, the therapy, the mental health medication. Man, let me tell y'all something. If women healed, if women loved, if women married, if they were happily married, if they had the children and like, if their mental health got right, Big Pharma, their stock would drop overnight. Think about that. 70% of women, if they actually got right in their mind and led a life that they love and got off their mental health medication, Big Pharma would lose its entire mind. It needs to keep you sick. Look, they got people now believing that once you receive a mental health diagnosis, that is permanent. Yep. Once you get that depression diagnosis, you're depressed for the rest of your life. Once you get that anxiety diagnosis, you're anxious for the rest of your life. That is not true. There are plenty of people that I will assess with depression or anxiety or some other mental health condition, and in 6 months, a year, they don't meet the criteria for that diagnosis anymore. See, they don't tell you that. Wake up. You need to wake up to what's happening. You're sleepwalking. You're living in survival mode. You're caring about things that don't really matter. My kids get on me all the time about, not watching the political crap, not getting caught up in all of that, not picking a side, and they know that I tend to lean conservative. That does not mean I'm MAGA. That does not mean I support Donald Trump. I don't, because I'm actually a rational, logical person who's not crazy. That does not mean, that, I don't know, what other trope do y'all put on Republicans? I'm not Republican. Okay, that doesn't mean that. It means that I'm for God's kingdom. It means that I'm traditional by nature as a woman. It means that I believe a man and a woman, should be married and have a family and, and have a cornerstone marriage and should love each other and trust each other and build something together and build beautiful children together. It means that, I don't want my children indoctrinated into rainbow culture. It means that I'm pro-life. Yeah, I lean more conservative. It means that I believe that I don't think the society should be masculinized or feminized. I believe it should be integrated. I believe there's a space for both. So we came out of a very masculinized culture, but guess what's happened? Now the culture is becoming more feminized. So the pendulum is just swinging from one side clear over to the other. So no, thank you, Alta, for buying a badge. Good morning. So I don't think it should be either one. I think it should be integrated. I think we need an integrated culture where there are feminine ideals and feminine things, and then there are masculine ideals and masculine things, and we can bring those things together. Okay, so yeah. But this is all been engineered. You need to wake up. You need to see it for what it is, and you need to make a commitment to not participate. Do not participate. Do not participate in this, gender, sex war, men against women, women against men, and they're pitted against each other. Don't do that. Don't buy into that. Stay open. Stay curious. Stop judging the other person. Women judge men for not emoting. They judge men for not talking about feelings all the time. They judge men for being more physical than us. Why can't this is what I teach in therapy. This is what I teach men and women in therapy. We need to honor our differences. Stop trying to make the other person more like you. All you need to do is just honor the fact that this is a man. This is a man. He's not going to move the way I move. He's not going to feel the way I feel or even think the way I think. I made a video the other day. We are more different than we are alike. I believe that. Men and women are more different than we are alike. And yet, I think we should honor those differences. I think we should embrace those differences and stop trying to make the other person feel bad or wrong. That is not it at all. That's not it at all. If a woman wants to feel a way about something or have emotions about something, okay. All right, can I, once you've done that, can I bring you to the land of logic? But let that be. And the same with the man. Okay. You need facts. You need data. Can I bring you over to the land of feelings and emotions or, instinct or intuition? It's so weird to me how people are. But like I said, y'all are living in survival mode. That explains a lot. There are a lot of people suffering from complex PTSD. You're living in survival mode. You can't even know thyself and be the best version of yourself because you are fearful. It's like a animal. It's like a trapped animal. That's how most people are. That's why I do tend to, I steer clear of people because people are out here walking around like a trapped animal. And anything you say or do will set them off. And then don't get me started on the anonymity of the comments. Because most of y'all don't have your real picture in your Instagram bio or your YouTube, you don't have the picture of you. You feel like you can say anything. You feel like you can write anything in the comments. That is just reckless. Y'all are reckless. Who raised you? But no, you're not going to do that on my platform. Nope. I'm actually going to take out an hour or two today to go through my YouTube comments. I've got some YouTube videos to upload and edit. I'm going to try to go through the Instagram comments. That's the place where it gets really scary. But there's just so many of them. There's so many comments. I've talked to you all about using profanity. Like, please stop using profanity underneath my posts. Please stop using profanity underneath my videos. And again, if you don't like it, go away from here. Go away from here. What is the point? What is the point of that? What type of reasonable argument are you making by just using a bunch of expletives? What is the point of it? Okay, y'all use a lot of Darvo and sign language tactics. You got to make people feel shame or guilt, or you got to intimidate them. You got to, reverse it and turn it around so that you're the victim. All of the judgment and all of this. Like, go somewhere and heal. That's all I can say. Go somewhere and love yourself. Go somewhere and figure yourself out. Go somewhere and figure out what makes you happy. That's what you need to do. Because unhappy people, bored people who ain't got nothing going on, y'all the main ones that be under my comments, y'all be under my videos. And there's a very small percentage of people who are positive, who are writing comments that are helpful and hopeful and positive, and they add value. That's about 10%. But most people, it's just, I've got some anger and frustration to get out. And so, I'm going to do it under Anita's content. I'm going to attack her. I'm going to come for her. Why not? Somebody got to get this work. But go and find your joy. Go and find your happiness. Figure out who you are. Figure out what makes you happy. Try to get out of survival mode. Try to get to a place where you can actually thrive. You can actually do something, sit on the couch and watch a show and knit a scarf and do something that makes you feel happy and content. That's how you know you're not in survival mode. When you have time to explore, when you are open-minded, when you have time to actually apply all of the things that you're learning from the things you're watching, when you are compassionate and you release the shame you have empathy for yourself and compassion for yourself and empathy and compassion for other people, that's how you know you out of survival mode. You are actually in a healthy place where, wow, I can work on myself. I can start growing and learning and, being open to different things. But a lot of people are stuck in the same cycle over and over and over again. You can take breaks from social media. You can go outside and walk in nature. Get some sun on you. Yeah. But a lot of people are in survival mode. And that's why it's like no one's getting anywhere. No one's thriving. No one's becoming who God destined them to be. I talked to a client about this just the other day. I said, baby, you're not going to step into your destiny. You're not going to become who God created you to be until you get out of survival mode. You're like a trapped animal running around, looking how to get out, looking how to do this and do that. Like, that's not a feel-good place. That's not a happy, feel-good place. That's an anxious, scared place. So please, please work on yourself. And remember, the best way that you help this world, the best way that you help other people is by being the happiest, calmest, most contented version of yourself. That is my gift to the world. The self-sufficiency and being able to meet my needs, to show up in a calm, respectful manner. The fact that I know how to manage my nervous system, that's my gift to the world. That's what I give to the world, is that I am not a nasty, mean-spirited, ugly inside, discontented, cruel, non-compassionate person. That's what we're seeing out here now. People whose lives are so miserable that this is what I'm bringing to the world, that I'm miserable. That's what you're doing. So come on now, stop. Check yourself. Take radical responsibility for yourself and your life. Work on yourself. That's the greatest gift that you give to other people. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those of you who do support my channel in a good and positive way. Thank you, Alta, for buying a badge. That's a lovely way to support my platform. There are many other ways to support my platform. There are people who buy super stickers, they buy badges during lives, they leave tips, they like the video, they share the video, they subscribe to the channel, they become members of the channel. There are lots of positive ways to support the work that I'm doing. Okay, that's it. That's it. Doug Ray Whitfield says the government gave women the power over the black man. He can't control his home, so we will leave. And now men don't say anything to a woman. No one is doing God's will. Again, that's a message that is getting you all riled up, right? You got to look deeper. You got to look deeper. That's simply, again, another message to get the men all riled up. Last I checked, a woman can't make a man do anything. Thank you, Dominican_kisses, for buying a badge. Thank you. She says, Alta says, book sessions, y'all. Miss Anita will get you right. Thank you. So, again, that's just another message. You got to be a critical thinker. And your mind has to be open to critically think. And a lot of y'all's minds are not open. That's why there's no critical thinking anymore. Critical thinking takes patience. It takes a level of clarity and patience to go, you know what? Let me really think about this. Let me really think about what's going on here. Let me look deeper. Y'all don't have that kind of patience. Y'all's dopamine receptors are fried. A lot of people today, they accept whatever message is out there. You don't critically think about it. You just accept it. You accept it as the truth. You accept it as fact. So, okay. Like, oh, that's what's happening? The government? Okay. Like, you don't even stop to think. Is that what's happening? The government is doing something? Or women are controlling men? No, we're not. No, we're not. Last I checked, a woman can't make a man do anything. Like, come on now. So, again, I want to dispel all of that. I do. If your mind is not open, if you've already made up your mind, this is not the place for you. Go somewhere. There are lots of platforms out there that will mirror back to you what you already believe and know. Go there. You don't need to come here. You don't need to be devil's advocate. You don't need to do that. Go somewhere that already is going to agree with what you think. Stay living in a vacuum. Okay? That's it. I go to liberal platforms. I listen to people who have totally different views than me. Totally different views. And I'm like, okay, never thought about that. That's interesting. Like, I literally take the time to critically think about what's being said. And that's what I want to see people do more of. That's it. Have a great day. I appreciate you all. It's going to be a cold one today. We're starting out cold. The leaves are turning. And I am going to start signing up for more hikes. We're going to be doing our Shenandoah Valley hikes where we're going to see the leaves turning, and we're going to start doing more like cold weather hikes. So I'm trying to get ready for that. I pulled out my hiking boots yesterday, so I'm excited. But thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who supports the platform. I really do. Y'all rock with me, and I appreciate you all. Have a great Sunday, and as always, stay open to love.